guests and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. AMP2.TV presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on AMP2.TV. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Hello, happy Monday, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Tell Us Your Biz. I'm Alana Shearer, your South Florida arts advocate and media host, and here to bring you what's the new scoop around. So today we have a special guest that's joining us live on the air, and it's none other than Tyler Ummons, the Director of Business for Preferred Home Care of Florida. So without further ado, let me welcome him on. Hello, Tyler. I hope I did not botch your last name too much, but it's good to see you on. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on. It's Ammons.
Ammons. All right. We'll note that one
very
down.
Close.
Close. I have a hard last name myself, which is Shearer with lots of E's and U's and ER's. So
I'm going to stick with Alana.
Yeah, we can go with Alana, but it's good to see you on. I want to talk about a lot today, but I wanted to start off with allowing you to do your own introduction. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and about Preferred Home Care of Florida?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Tyler Ammons. I'm obviously the Director of Business Development. The company is Preferred Home Care of Florida. It is an offshoot as of almost 4 years ago for Preferred Home Care of New York. Preferred Home Care of New York has been around for about 13 years, somewhere between 13, 14 years. It's two young guys, privately owned. They started it from the ground up, and currently New York's at 11,000 patients under census.
Wow.
They cover the entire state. They have since bought 21 assisted living facilities up in that area. Which kind of brings us to Florida. So fast forward a little over 3.5 years ago, they decided to venture into Florida. At that point, they ended up buying 3 licenses: one in Palm Beach County, one in Broward County, and one in the Treasure Coast. Covers everything all the way up through Sebastian area. So that's kind of where I came in. They brought me in. I guess, God, it's almost 2 years now. It's somewhere between 1.5 years and 2 years. They said they wanted to grow. I said, okay, here we go. And since then, we've experienced exponential growth. I think we grew in the last 1.5 years a little over 1,000%. We've increased the internal the staff of the company by 6 times.
Wow.
And we're consistently hiring more people. So experiencing significant growth.
Well, it's good to hear that such an established company that's from the New York side is starting to make its way to be that up and coming for down here in South Florida as well. And I'm sure, starting up, you just mentioned for the past 2-ish years that it's not exactly the most ideal time with the whole world and everything almost shutting down with COVID. I'm sure that you have handled quite some challenges along the way, but it's good to hear that you are growing and being successful and giving people really the help and care they need down here in South Florida as well. So
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about your website for anyone who is tuning in right now and wondering, how can I learn more about this awesome company we're talking about? Could you shout out your website, how people could find you, more information and contact?
Sure. Yeah. The website is Preferred, PREF as in Frank, ERRED, HCFL as in homecareflorida.com. I know it's a lot. It's a mouthful. We are located. Our main office, central corporate office for Florida, is located in Boca Raton. We're right off of Palmetto. If anybody ever wanted to inquire into services, or even they could even reach out to the office and be transferred to myself, they can call the office at 561-392-0046.
Perfect. And for anyone who is wondering, who is very local to the area, they are just off of 7301 West Palmetto Park Road, Suite 208C, and that's in Boca Raton, Florida. But as you said, you cover lots of areas, not just here in Boca, but throughout the South Florida area. So even if you are interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you're tuning into our live stream and not just on radio, right now we are airing on 95.3, 96.9, 1470. But if you're watching us on the live stream, you will see that number below on your screen just as well. So tell me a little bit more about the company's main goal for our communities down here. What would you say is your main priority?
All right. So let me preface this with,
Big
I've been in this
question, right?
business. It's a good question. And I've been in this business for a little over 20 years. And so many companies get obsessed and narrowly focused on top and bottom line revenue growth. And while obviously companies to grow, you need to have the revenue coming in. In this business, in the business of people and people's health, specifically in the home care arena, there's a better way to grow it, and we truly believe that. And I know our seniors to us are more than just another number, just another patient. We literally we're so customer focused, meaning our patients, patient focused. We've made a conscious effort to hire amazing people every single month, and we do every single week sometimes, but every single month we're constantly looking to hire the best nurses, the best physical therapists, the best internal staff. I mean, everybody from top to bottom, people that share that vision of the company, because we're ultimately, everybody is still committed to enabling these medically fragile patients to hopefully live a better life, to hopefully get better, and do so with dignity in the comfort of their own home. And we believe that if we keep focused on that, it'll allow us to grow organically and ultimately be a sustainable business model. And I guess a simpler way to put all that is, if you focus on the patient, business will grow organically.
Well, I definitely am getting that. Not only patient, but people. Putting people first definitely seems to be what's coming across. And that's good to know that even when you're talking to someone who is the director of business development, very official business title, that it's truly about putting your mind and your heart in the right place of why you do what you do. And that's important for people to know and trust.
There's a guy I met years ago in business, and he used to always talk about setting goals, and it made me laugh, and it kind of carried over to this. Similar to how, you're looking at revenue and you got to grow revenue, but you don't have, he said it's kind of like saying I want to lose weight, so I'm just going to go stand on the weight scale.
You're
focusing on the wrong thing. You have to focus
thing.
on maybe eat better, maybe go work out a little bit, and hopefully the scale starts moving. Same thing here. If we just focus on one patient at a time, getting them better, getting them out there, doing the right things, ultimately,
which is
come to the business.
Which is reassuring to hear, even as someone who I may not be thinking of reaching out to you right now for myself, but for my loved ones. And that I feel like that usually is the case, is someone who's interested in taking care of mom and dad or grandparents, or even a friend, someone they know that needs help or needs that extra care, that you are the type of facility to give a call, ask those important questions, and find the simple solutions in a trustworthy place. So can you
Very significant part of our business is people like you that call in about mom and dad.
Oh, yes. Well, it's needed. And for even not for mom and dad, but even next door neighbors, people who may not have that comfort that we were missing. Yeah. Even in recent years, we heard so many tragic stories about people not receiving the proper care or not reaching out. And even with just mental health as being a main topic on the news and in society today, to check in on your loved ones, that it all comes together all around. So tell me a little bit more about specifically the services and treatments that you offer if someone was inquiring. Like if I was saying, hey, I need some help with mom and dad, what is it specifically that you can offer?
Yeah, it's funny. We could take up the entire broadcast with that question. So as far as skilled care, by skilled care we mean Medicare, VA. We work with the Medicare primarily, along with the VA. We recently got awarded the VA contract. We're very proud to serve our seniors and our veterans.
Very nice.
But for both of those services, we call that skilled services, meaning nursing, physical therapy, things of that nature. We obviously have very focused COPD programs, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, very specific CHF programs, which is congestive heart failure. Neurological disorders, we see a lot of patients up to and including Parkinson's and dementia, wound care, diabetic care, home IV infusion, like home IV antibiotics, We also, of course, a big part of our business is an aggressive physical therapy and occupational therapy program. People typically see that from orthopedic surgeries, patients like that, but also if mom falls, ends up in a hospital for any amount of time, then has to go to a rehab, she's going to be weak. She's going to be weaker. We have to build her back up and get her strong enough to where she can go to these outpatient procedures, and hopefully get strong enough to where she can be back up on her feet and being a little more independent out in the community. Value-added services, we have, because we have also a private pay home health aid service. In layman's, we call it private duty.
Okay.
But it's essentially where patients who need more care than what their insurance will pay for,
Would cover.
they often have to pay privately for home health aides in the home. They help with what we call assisted activities of daily living. This could be anything from bathing to dressing, meal prep, light housekeeping, transportation to appointments, whatever the case may be. So we tend to try to look at it holistically, like a global assessment of the patient, and try to ultimately put the right people in place to ultimately get them back up to where they're somewhat independent and able to live their lives.
And I do feel that those day-to-day activities that you may not even think about are going to add up, and that overall is going to affect someone's quality of life and their outlook
100%.
on staying happy and healthy. It goes hand in hand. So to receive any of that care and to know that that's offered and that you are thinking through everything possible is just reassuring as to why you do what you do. Now, being down here in South Florida, during COVID, everything, have you made a lot of adaptations? How have you navigated through this business-wise the past 2, almost now 3 years, I would say? How have you adapted?
Um, they hired me right in the middle of COVID. And it was an interesting time. I was excited about the vision they had. They really wanted to grow in Florida. And so the number one problem we had, and I think I speak for everybody in this industry, and I mean home health, hospital, rehabs, even doctors, we've all had the same problem, and that's finding nurses, finding and hiring nurses. COVID caused a slew of issues that I won't get into, but long story short, most home health companies work almost exclusively off of what's called per diem nurses. And essentially it's nurses who can work for 5 different agencies, and they can choose to go in a case or not. What we did is we decided to start hiring on nurses full-time. We started giving them full-time staff positions. We worked out the numbers to where it makes sense financially, and ultimately it has ended up putting us in a very actionable position to where our partners in the community, the hospitals who refer to us, the doctors who refer to us, the rehabs, it all of a sudden gives us the ability, because the nurse is our employee, to have timely starts of care. That's a big metric in this business. Patient leaves the hospital, they want to know they're started at the very most 48 hours within discharge. Ideally, you want to get there within 24 hours. And so it's really allowed us to strengthen our position. So much so that even now, as we're exiting the pandemic, we've started expanding it to all of our offices, all of our territories, hiring on full-time PTs as well for physical therapy. It's just, it's a great business model. And ultimately, the nurses are happy, the PTs are happy, they have a place to call home, and it's amazing how much more productivity you get out of a nurse.
Well, I was going to say, besides... Go ahead.
No, that's it. When they know they have a home and they know they have a place that I guess appreciates them.
I was going to say, besides holding on to that retention rate of your nursing on a staff side of things, I would imagine for patients to see that familiar face and know that they are there full time, and that to have that recognition too, to see the same people, the same smiling faces over and over instead of a different person every single time they need someone, is also going to create a positive
we call that
atmosphere.
continuity. We call that continuity of care.
Yes, there you go. The best
same
terminology you can get. How would you describe your facility being different from other health companies out there? Coming from South Florida, there's a lot when it comes to who to go with for our loved ones, who we can turn to, who to ask the questions. What would you say differentiates you from everyone else out there?
That's a really good question. I would say 2 words: our people. And I know it sounds generic, but I'm a big fan of looking at successful people's work. I think the sincerest form of flattery is, me ripping you off and taking some of your ideas. Jeff Bezos, over the CEO of Amazon, founder. One of my favorite principles of his was, and I'm probably paraphrasing here, but was to always be customer obsessed. Our customer, I think I mentioned it earlier, is the patient. So we always want to be customer obsessed. Number two, and is to always hire and develop the best. And this is everyone. And when I say we hire and develop the best, I'm not including myself in this, by the way, but managers, internal staff, nurses, PTs, schedulers, intake people. We're constantly looking to hire the best people out there. Is it the easiest way to fill a building? No, it's hard because you have to find people. The best people out there are working, and they're doing a good job where they're doing. The hard part is convincing them to come over, buy into our vision, and ultimately do what they do, but even get more out of them when they come over. And I think so far we're doing a good job of that. We have a lot of winners. We have a lot of winners in our team. I'm really proud of the work they do every day, and we're not done. We're constantly looking to expand. Next on the list, we're looking over the next 1 to 2 years, we're going to be expanding further north, the Treasure Coast. And also, we're going to be looking to head over onto the West Coast, probably Naples through Sarasota,
And
that type of area.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you currently do provide services for, we're talking Palm Beach, Indian River, Martin, Okeechobee, and St. Lucie counties. So those are already covered by Preferred Home Care Florida.
Yes, that is correct.
So we're just keep adding on. Now, if someone is listening right now and they might be like myself wondering, when is the correct time to give you a call, to reach out, to find that care and help, what are the signs that people should be looking for of when to give that call or to know who should be the person to make that call and reach out?
Well, if you are a patient who has Medicare or a patient who has VA, I'm going to tell you to immediately go to your doctor. Don't be hard-headed. In the world of Medicare and the VA, it is 100% physician-driven. It is always a patient's choice as far as what home health company they can use. Of course, if they feel comfortable with us, they can ask their physician, and the physician will write the order. When it comes to the home health aides that I mentioned before, if you want to hire
Right.
home health aides individually, that is not necessarily physician-driven. They can reach out to anybody they want, meaning they can reach out to us, and they can call us directly, and we can talk to them about how to set up a plan of care and pricing and all that stuff. But in general, they're going to need to go to their physician. It's 100% physician-driven. We do occasionally get the patient, a lot actually, especially with the snowbirds, where they may not have a PC or I'm sorry, a PCP, primary care physician.
Yes.
Or maybe they're up in New York and they haven't seen them in 3 years. So we get that often. So if they need suggestions, we obviously can give them a list of a few different doctors. But ultimately, they need a doctor to give them a diagnosis, at which point the doctor will state, you need physical therapy because of whatever the case may be, whatever diagnosis he gives them, at which point they give us the order and we can start them very next day.
And now, as far as Preferred Home Care of Florida, we talked about wanting to get on the West Coast, moving a little further up north. In the next, say, 5 to 10 years from now, what would you say is your mission and vision for how you guys are continuing to expand and grow, what you see yourself going for?
Kleenex. I want to be the Kleenex. I want to be synonymous with Kleenex, but for excellent healthcare. I want to be the standard, or at least one of the top 2, 3. Ideally, number 1. I want everybody to know who Preferred Home Care is, and I want them to know it for the right reason. And I want it to be because we busted our butts trying to make sure that these patients are getting the best chance to live the rest of their lives healthy as possible.
Which is good to hear. That's what everybody wants to hear. But to be that big name, that is what our mission is for. And again, if you are just joining on, I'm talking to Tyler Ammons.
Ammons.
I see, I was so close. Tyler Ammons, the Director of Business Development for Preferred Home Care of Florida. And just to remind everyone, if you need more information, if you want to read more in depth, their website is www.preferred, hcfl.com, as well as you can reach out directly to Tyler through his line, but the main line is 561-392-0046. And the main office is the one on Palmetto, but we have several
Yep,
facilities, correct?
yeah, that's where the myself, Ari Baim, who is our director of ops, and Adriana Rodriguez, who I should have dragged on the show with me. She is she is the grease that greases the wheels. She's our director of clinical services. All roads lead to her. When we bought this first agency in Palm Beach County, it was a two-star agency. So
Wow.
CMS, the governing body of Medicare, you can look at any company's numbers on Medicare.gov. You go down to the bottom, and it'll let you search up any company. We were a two-star agency, and it finally reflects accurately this year. We're up to a five-star agency, and it's 100% based on
Congratulations.
Adriana Rodriguez. Yeah, she's done a phenomenal job. So we have great leadership in this company, and we have, more importantly, we've hired all the right people that we're confident can help take us into the new year.
Well, it certainly reiterates that you're putting people and patients first, and that you're going in with the feel-good mind frame that reassures people like myself out there to know that you are in good hands. Do you have a slogan that goes with preferred home care? That's making me think of that right now. Is there a catchphrase that you guys use?
Unofficially, no, they won't like my slogan. Never mind. I go into the office and it's urgency, urgency, urgency. No,
Urgent.
no.
Stat,
Yeah.
please. What would
Yeah.
you say is your
We
main goal?
Our official slogan actually though is I should actually know this. How am I drawing a blank? I think it's on my business card.
Making you think
Home,
twice.
better at home or something to that effect. I apologize. I'm not showing very well.
I threw that one
Long
on the
story short, we
spot.
want to get them home. Yeah,
We
you
want to
do.
get them home and making sure that we are taking care of them as if they're in our own home too, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But I use that phrase a lot in my own work. My home is your home. But yes, what would you say is the company's main goal for as far as just the community in general?
Community in general. Honestly, I think that we are experiencing just so much growth right now, and it's easy to get focused so much on the daily. Let's be real, growth is stressful. Anybody in high growth mode, it's stressful. Yeah, everybody's on, everybody's a little bit on tilt. So, I think the biggest thing I really think it's just a matter of keeping everybody with a like-minded vision. Make sure everybody understands. And we've had those meetings in the past, just giving you a little insight, where we call people in and we'll say, hey, just to give you an idea, this is what's happening with sales. Sales it's a tough job. You're out on an island, and we'll tell the internal people. We know they sound like they're urgent, but that's because it is. It is urgent. They care about these people. They're in front of these. They touch every life before we ever take care of them. They go to see them in the hospital. They say, hey, listen, Miss Smith, we're going to be taking care of you, and we're going to have a nurse calling you. So they tend to be a little bit of an alarmist. Sales is a high anxiety position. And then again, you get to the office, and these people they're having tremendous growth. They're on the phones nonstop between nurses and patients and home health aides and everybody yelling and wondering why people, where people are and who's coming out. And then Miss Smith forgot 3 times that we talked to her, and it happens. And it's just a matter of keeping everybody understanding that we're here for a reason. We're here for one goal, and it takes every single one of us to make that happen.
Which is good to know. Well, I'm so
Yeah.
surprised how much our time has flown by. I'm checking my clock. I'm like, there's no way this flew by. But it was a
Holy
pleasure.
moly.
I know, right? It was a pleasure speaking with you about
Yeah,
preferred
absolutely.
preferred home care of Florida, and to know that your goals and what you see for the future of this company, how you travel down from New York, and now it's going to be the next big thing for South Florida. Not just South Florida, all of Florida, as we're expanding
Yep.
over the next couple months, years. I'm excited to see the growth. And for anyone
And
who's wondering,
I hear good luck is in order for you, by the way. I heard you might be running for
Miss
Miss.
Florida,
That's the
someone must
one.
have planted a bug in there.
They
Yes, I
did. They
am.
did.
Come June, I'm looking at my board ops over there, shaking their heads. Yes, I will be
Good
running
luck to
for.
you.
Thank you very much. But as
Yeah.
someone in my position too, though, I work with people of all ages, from young kids to our elderly, and it's very important for people like yourself to be there supporting everybody because it's not just
Yeah.
those who are in the immediate need, but to relieve that for families and friends as well, to know that they're safe and to be comfortable and trusted.
Couldn't have
So
said it better myself.
we appreciate you. For anyone wondering, Preferred Home Care of Florida is fully licensed by the Florida State Department of Health and accredited by the Joint Commission. You can find them at 7301 West Palmetto Park Road as their main office, or you can reach out to Tyler at 561-392-0046. If you're not ready for that phone call and you just want more info, you can also check online at www.preferredhcfl.com. Tyler, I hope you have a great rest of your week and a happy St. Patrick's Day. It's been a pleasure getting to talk
Absolutely.
with you, and we hope to hear from you soon. And thank you to everyone who's been joining us live on air or catching our live stream. I've been Alana Shearer, your host for today, and thank you for watching Tell Us Your Biz.
Thanks a lot.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.